Good morning everyone, I hope you're all really well. So yeah, you can tell by the title, this isn't the video that I was hoping I was going to be making today, but I am aware that I just disappeared pretty much from YouTube without explanation, and I know that I had been given some clues over the last few weeks that things weren't quite okay, and I had lots of messages actually. Thank you so much for all of the messages that I've had recently, just to say that I don't look happy, I look sad, and I have been, to be honest. I've been really struggling the last few months, and yeah, now I have an outcome to the reason why. So I thought I would just make this video. I'm not going to make this a down video or anything like that, and I really hope that you keep watching because I really have got a message that I really want to get out to people. So yeah, well, basically I need to take this story back 2.5 years because that's where it all started. So I found a lump in July 2020 and it was very small. It kind of reminded me of literally like a pea, it's what it felt like, or a ball bearing, something like that. Very small, hard, round lump. It was in the lower area of my breast. So actually, when you research breast cancer, they say that it usually starts in like the upper outer area, but this was underneath. And yeah, it just did not fit any of the characteristics of cancer. So anyway, I went promptly to my GP, and my GP said to me that she didn't think it was anything to worry about, but that she would refer me to the hospital. So I got a very prompt referral. They see you within 2 weeks if cancer is suspected. So I was invited to go to the hospital fairly promptly after I was referred. And I went in and explained. They had a look, and when the doctor was examining me, he found an area in the upper outer area that he was concerned about. And so the conversation completely changed from the area I was concerned about, and it almost just got overlooked. So anyway, he sent me down to the scanning room, and because I was 38, I had an ultrasound, because if you're under 40, you don't get a mammogram. How I feel about that, I'm not sure, but they say it's because under 40, you have a lot of, you have a lot of fatty tissue. I could be wrong with that, but I'm fairly sure that's what it says on the wall in the clinic. So anyway, I had an ultrasound and they scanned and said that everything was fine. So I left the hospital, and then I thought, I just don't know whether they've seen the right area, because everyone shifted their focus onto the upper outer area, and my concern was a different area altogether. And I just couldn't shake the feeling that they hadn't looked at it properly. So I went back to my GP and I said, I'm sorry, I just don't think they've seen this, what I'm concerned about. And I explained my reasons why, and she referred me back to the hospital. So this was literally within a matter of a couple of weeks of being seen at the hospital. So then I got another appointment at the hospital. Just got some lemon water. I was seen again and I explained, look, I appreciate that you were concerned about another area, but my concern is another area, and I don't actually think we got to looking at the area I'm concerned about. It was the same doctor that I saw. So he agreed to examine me again. This time he definitely felt the lump I was concerned about. And he said, don't have any concerns about this. I'll get you scanned just to make sure, but fairly certain that it's nothing. So I went back down to the scanning area and they scanned it. And to be honest, I really feel strongly again that she just did not see the area I was talking about. And anyway, she scanned and said, yeah, everything's fine, off you go. So it was a stressful time anyway, because we were about to buy a house. And in fact, whilst I was waiting in the scanning area for my ultrasound, my solicitors were actually ringing me while I was sitting there, and they left a voicemail. When I got out of the hospital, I picked the voicemail up saying, are you ready to exchange contracts? We can exchange next week. So it was literally like we were literally about to exchange and complete on the house, and I didn't want to do that until I'd been given the kind of the all clear, if you like, because, you know, I didn't want to embark on a cancer journey having just invested everything into a house. So fast forward 2 years, and I really haven't been convinced ever since I had this ultrasound. I really felt that they hadn't seen what I could feel. But obviously things have changed because I've lost a lot of weight. So I've been on Slimming World now since the beginning of March, and I've lost 4 stone 9 pounds. And so over the last few months, I've noticed some changes on my skin, very slight changes. And it's just been bothering me. It's just been getting me down because I've wanted to look forward to all of the things that there are to look forward to. And it's like I've had this block that I just couldn't seem to look forward to things because I just felt like I needed some kind of absolute confirmation about this lump. And the skin changes, I kept looking, I was like, I've lost a lot of weight. Like, my skin is changing everywhere. So that was almost explained. But then a couple of weeks ago, I went down with bronchitis. And so I woke up that morning feeling really unwell. And I went into the bathroom to get ready for work. And the lump just felt so obvious. It was protruding almost out of my skin, and it didn't feel particularly that much bigger, but it just was so obvious. And that was the morning that changed everything. I broke down, and I just said, I've got to do something about this. This is just affecting me. I just need to know for absolute sure and feel confident that this is nothing to worry about. So I rang my doctor straight away that morning. She saw me straight away. She said, look, I really think this is nothing to be worried about, but I do need to rule out breast cancer because I do have a family history of it. And yeah, it just needed to be ruled out. So she referred me on the Friday. On the Monday, I got a phone call booking me in for the Friday. So literally within 1 week, I got my appointment. So this time I went and I saw a doctor, and honestly, he really didn't seem to want to, I don't know. He examined me and he said, before he examined me, he said, I'll have a look, but if nothing looks any different or doesn't feel anything, then he'll just send me home. And examined me, didn't feel anything. And I said, look, this is the lump. It's when I sit up, you'll really feel it. So I sat up and he said, I really don't think there's anything here. But he made a little dot on my skin with a pen. And he said, we'll scan it, just, I think he felt like he was just entertaining me, just kind of following through to almost to get rid of me. That's kind of what I felt, if I'm honest. And he sent me down to the scanning area. So the difference this time is that I'm 40 now. So now I get a mammogram. Now, I was really nervous about having a mammogram. Obviously, I've never had one before. And they're just something that make me feel nervous. But I felt like it would be a good thing because, it's a full X-ray type test. So the ultrasound, they're focusing in on one area, and if they don't get a clear vision for whatever reason, it's not, for me, I feel like I needed more than that to kind of put my mind at rest. So I went in for a mammogram. She said because I was there, they'd do both sides. So I had this test. She said, if everything's all right, I will come and let you know and you can go. So I went and sat out after my mammogram, and a short while later I got called into another room, and she said, oh, the doctor would like to do an ultrasound. So I had a fantastic doctor, just really took his time, and he didn't tell me he'd seen a lump on the mammogram, but I could just tell. And so he was having a good look, and he said, I really don't know what this is. He said it is small, but I really don't think this is anything to be concerned about. But he did say he wanted to take a biopsy, and he said he could do it there and then, or I could come back. So I just said, do it. So he took the biopsy, and he sent me back down to the other doctor who I originally saw, who told me they weren't concerned about anything, but they'd done the biopsy and that they needed to book me in the following week for the results. So they booked me an appointment for the following Thursday, and that was where we were at. So that is the whole backstory. What I want to get across here is that I felt something wasn't right. I just felt very strongly that I couldn't rest. It just didn't feel right. I wasn't convinced it had been looked at properly. And yeah, it was just, I had to pursue this, and I can't stress enough. I know we hear this a lot, but honestly, if you don't think you have got the answers that you need, don't give up. I really can't stress this enough. I needed to get an answer as to what this was. When I went back the third time, the doctor said, oh, it was a skin lesion. Well, no one actually ever told me that. I never got any closure. And if they had have told me it was a skin lesion, I may well have felt a little bit more settled, but I don't think I would ever have got the closure I needed if I didn't get the full range of tests that I had. So anyway, I went back to the hospital on Thursday, so it's now Monday, with my husband to get the results. And unfortunately, it is breast cancer. And the consultant who I saw was absolutely lovely. And he said that they were really shocked. They weren't expecting this. Well, obviously, I knew they weren't expecting this because, you know, they've made it very clear every time I've been in there, for every test I've had, that no one's concerned. And yeah, so he just said, you know, we are very shocked. I kind of went through a range of emotions. I felt an initial anger, because I just said to him, I've had this for nearly 2.5 years. I've been to this clinic 2 times, and both times been told it's nothing to worry about. And I told him that I'd delayed going to the doctor for a few months this year because I just felt like no one was going to listen to me. And, you know, he was so lovely, and he said they are looking into what happened and that I shouldn't feel like that. You know, they want people to go and see them if they are, you know, if they are really worried. And I get that, but every doctor I saw essentially almost shut me down when I went in there. You know, it wasn't easy to convince the doctors to actually follow through with this. So yeah, I basically received my diagnosis, and from that moment on, I just got absolutely overloaded with information. I mean, these appointments are full on. My husband and I went in there at 3 o'clock. Our appointment was at 3 o'clock. We didn't actually go in until about 3:20. We didn't come out until 5. And they just give you so much information. And I won't go into that now, but you get given a book, basically, and it has all the information in there. And I've now been assigned a lovely, lovely lady who is my named person that supports me now through everything. And she said that she actually supports me for the next 5 years. So I have like an open referral with them for 5 years. If I'm concerned about anything, then, you know, I have someone, a direct phone number that I can contact this lady on. So in terms of the cancer that I have, I've been told that it's very slow moving. The doctor said the cells are very slow to turn. Now, I really haven't looked into this too much, but they've told me that is good news, and they've provisionally graded it as a 1. I do have to go to hospital in the next, probably after Christmas, to have an ultrasound on my underarm so they can look at the lymph nodes. And then I'm booked in just after New Year for a lumpectomy surgery. So I'm not having the whole breast removed. I'm having the lump and some tissue from around the lump removed at the moment. That's the plan. Then they'll also remove some lymph nodes from my underarm during the surgery, and they'll send those off to be tested. So that's then when they'll book me in for an outpatient's appointment a few weeks after surgery, and then I'll get all the results. So I'll get the results of the lymph node tests and everything, basically. So that's going to be a nerve-wracking appointment, to say the least. Then 6 weeks after surgery, I then have to have 3 weeks of daily radiotherapy under my arm. And they're hoping that that's all I need. So at the moment, they've said I don't need chemotherapy, but they can't say for sure until they've operated, basically, and tested my lymph nodes. And then I will get a complete answer about my situation. So at the moment, I'm in a bit of shock still, because it's still very early days. And yeah, it's been a whirlwind. I'm really pleased that I pursued this, and I'm really pleased that I lost so much weight before this diagnosis, because I'll be honest with you, my biggest worry is having the surgery. I'm terrified of having the surgery. I'm terrified of having a general anaesthetic. And yeah, I think had I have been the 4.5 stone heavier now, it would have been a lot harder. So I'm really proud of myself for just taking this as far as I have. And now I really want to get as fit and healthy as I can before my surgery. So I've got just under a month to just really give it a good go. Now, obviously it's Christmas, but I'm not letting Christmas get in my way. I'll give myself Christmas Day and Boxing Day, but I'm focused. And so what am I going to do about it? Well, I'm going to remain positive for a start, and I'm going to try and tackle this with my diet and lifestyle. I'm really interested in natural healing, and I've been watching a lot of Dr. Berg. This is not an ad, of course, but I know I've mentioned him before on my channel, and I find him really fascinating. And he has a lot of information about nutrition and cancer. So I've got some really good ideas from him. I have a couple of contacts on my Instagram who I've met via YouTube, who watch my channel, who have reached out to me. The lovely Sam, the Fighting Felter, I reached out to Sam and we are in touch. She wants to give me her tips and everything. If you don't follow Sam, she's a lovely, lovely lady. She's dealing with a completely different cancer to me, but you very much feel like you're part of a team. And, I think you don't really understand until you have a diagnosis really what it feels like, and it's a very different feeling to how I expected to feel. So yeah, I'm in touch with Sam. In fact, if all goes to plan today, I will be having a FaceTime with Sam later this afternoon, which will be absolutely lovely. And we haven't caught up properly for a while anyway, and I can get all of her tips. And so I'm looking at my nutrition from a slightly different angle. I will absolutely carry on going to Slimming World. I absolutely love my consultant, my Slimming World group. In fact, so we left the hospital at 5. I went to collect my children. No, I went to see my mum, who lives around the corner, and then I went to collect my children. And then I went to my Slimming World group. And it was the best thing I did, actually. I never actually shared the news, so I did tell my consultant and I did tell my neighbour, because we travel together. But I didn't share, I asked my consultant not to come and speak to me. I just wanted to be around people. And yeah, so I'm absolutely dedicated to my Slimming World group, but I am going to have to make changes, and I'm not going to be following Slimming World to a T. So My plan is to cut out sugar as much as I can and cut down on the carbs and increase my fats via avocados, olive oil, nuts, seeds. Most of those things fit into healthy extras in Cinnamon World and Sins. If I'm not having sugar and processed snacks, then I'll have my Sins to spend on the fats. So I feel like I can make this work with Slimming World quite well, but there may be occasions where I'm over sinning. I'm having more than I should in Sins because some of the fats are quite high, but I feel like it will balance out because I'll be eating less overall. So I need to focus on proteins. I need to focus, if I can, on good quality proteins as well, trying to get some organic food, and I don't know how affordable that will be, so I'm going to have to test it out. But my theory is that if I'm eating less of everything else, then I should be spending less. And, you know, my family don't have, you know, an illness. My family are going to carry on as they are pretty much. And, you know, if I have to eat separately for a few days of the week, then that's what I'll do. I will do whatever it takes to turn around my health and fitness. Now, I have lived an incredibly unhealthy life my whole life. I've been overweight since I was a child, and I've had a very, very high addiction to sugar and sugar foods. And I drink a lot of alcohol. Well, I don't now, but I did drink a lot of alcohol. And I would say I probably still drink too much alcohol. So I don't drink frequently, but when I do, I drink probably too much in one go. So I'm very, very inactive. I still, to be honest, like my life is really busy, but I'm still really quite inactive. And I just really want to turn this around. I really feel like my unhealthy lifestyle could very well have contributed to my situation. It could just be genetics. I do have hormone positive cancer, so I'm being encouraged by the hospital to long-term have treatment via hormone tablets to try and prevent my cancer coming back, as long as they get rid of it, of course. So yeah, I have polycystic ovary syndrome, which is another issue when it comes to my hormones, and I know that keeping sugar out of my diet is really good for that as well. So I do think that there really is something to be said for eliminating the processed sugary foods and focusing on whole foods basically, and raw where I can. So a lot of fish, a lot of eggs, and some meat. And I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of meat. I never have been. The only reason that I've only really started cooking meat since I had the children, because it's feeding a family is so difficult. Like for me, I would be happy, and we did used to eat the same things over and over again. And I used to eat a lot of corn, and yeah, we never used to have meat. In fact, my husband, he said, I'd really love to have minced beef as a treat, because we literally never had it. But feeding a family is so hard, and I just started doing it for them, really. But I think, you know, it is going to form an important part of my diet in terms of the protein, but I need to try and get some good quality. And yeah, some cheese, some avocados, some nuts. I think avocado is actually going to feature quite heavily in my diet. And I've just drank some lemon water, so I'm going to drink 1 or 2 cups of lemon water a day, because I've researched and it seems that that's a really good cleanse for your system. And I'm also going to get some good quality supplements. So if you have any recommendations actually on where you buy supplements from, I'd be really interested. I would like to get organic if I can. I've done a little bit of research over the weekend, and I've found some potentials. So I'm going to get some garlic capsules. I think these are on my list anyway. I think I'm going to get some garlic capsules and some better quality vitamin D than what I'm currently taking. I do take vitamin D supplements, but then they're not the good quality ones. And I just think at the moment, I just need to give myself the best that I can possibly afford. And if it means cutting back on other things, then that's what I'll do, as long as everyone else gets what they need. And so, yeah, vitamin D. I'm going to look at turmeric. I've never cooked with it, but I don't think cooking with it is enough anyway. So I need to do a little bit of research into that. I've also heard something about green tea. I need to look at that. So yeah, I've got a really good idea of how I'm going to deal with this. I've just got to stay positive. You know, I'm 40 years old and I've got a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old and my husband. You know, we've got so many plans, and I just need to keep positive and just be certain that, you know, we can deal with this, and, you know, just hope that it really is stage 1 and that we can move forward over the course of the summer and hopefully, you know, return to life as we knew it. And yeah, so that's where I'm at. And I'm not going to turn this channel into a cancer channel. It's not going to be somewhere I keep talking about it. Although, I'll be honest, I'm not keeping this a secret from anyone. I do feel that talking about it does help. And this channel is my place where I can talk things through. I'm talking it through with myself, but sometimes that's the best way to talk things through, isn't it? But yeah, I feel like this is a really good outlet for me. But at the same time, I still want my channel to be about health and fitness. It just means that my diet is going to change slightly from where it was, but I'm still going to go to Slimming World. I'm still going to be having weekly weigh-ins. I probably won't have to really even miss groups and weigh-ins. So yeah, I'm just going to keep my channel going as normal, but I just felt like I needed to share what is going on, and the reason that I've not been posting and the reason that I've just disappeared, because to be honest, I didn't want to come on upset. I didn't want to come on in a negative headspace. My last vlog, when I was Christmas planning, it was that day I woke up and I was like, I am just going to move forward. I didn't know the results at that point. I was like, I'm just going to have a nice Christmassy day. I'm going to crack on, get things done, you know. That was a positive video. Had I filmed a few days later, it wouldn't have been that way. And I didn't want to put anything out on my channel that wasn't positive and me. So there's so many lovely Vlogmas videos going out. So much lovely content at the moment for Christmas. Nobody needed that. So I thought I would wait until I felt like I could talk properly and in a positive way. And yeah, so that's where I'm at. I thank you so much for all of the lovely messages that I've received recently. Honestly, over on my Instagram, I have had so many messages, and it touches me that people, I mean, I don't know any of you personally, but you still took the time to think of me or send a message, or, you know, just, it really has touched me. So thank you so much. I will be slowing down my uploads because I don't have quite as much at the moment to upload. So I don't even have a grocery haul for this week because we've been sort of doing small shops and I've just not really felt up to filming them. And yeah, I don't have any content filmed. So I'm going to be doing some what I'm eating in a day, because that's really important. What I eat in a day will look slightly different. They will still be Slimming World, but they obviously will be cancer fighting what I eat in a day. So I will be getting those out, but I'm very aware it is Christmas time. No one's really that interested, and yeah, my uploads will slow down. But thank you so much for continuing to support my channel. I really can't tell you how much it means to me. If you have any questions at all about what I've said, what I'm dealing with, if you are going through something similar and you have questions, advice, tips, anything, please let me know. My email, my Instagram and everything is on my YouTube account. I'll leave my contact details in the description box below as well. And of course you can comment on this video and ask anything that you need to ask. I may do a Q&A actually, and I'm not sure when I would do that. I might need to let time go on a little bit first, but yeah. So there are I'm definitely open to anyone asking anything that, you know, if you're worried about anything or you just want to give me some advice, tips, whatever. And I hope you are all really well too. I know there are lots of tough things going on in the world. The weather has got extreme and heating bills have soared, so I know that it's a really stressful time for all of us, and I hope you are all okay. Thank you as always so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.